This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved. Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching NowMedia Television.
Hi, I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on the NowMedia Television networks. I'm telling you, this is going to be an exciting show today. We got a whole bunch of things that are just kind of little things that are going to affect not only your business, but potentially the world. You know, we got Matthew Paul today coming in. We're going to be talking about insurance. And insurance is just a little thing, but if you don't have it, it can really, really affect your business. We got a new guest today that's going to be talking about recycling and how some recycling can really take and save the planet. But I want to talk about some little things that have been in the news this week. There was a company, you may not have heard of them. They're a big consulting company. But if you've ever gone to travel and camp across the United States and try to get into one of the U.S. national parks, you realize it's almost next to impossible right now. It is. You just cannot pull up to Yosemite and pull your tractor and pull your camper up and your trailer and do whatever you got to do and get in there and actually get a spot. You actually have to go online and go ahead and register. And it's not a .gov website. The company that went ahead and put this together and helped the government put this together, what there is, it's free to get these sites, but there's a $2 booking fee. The private company takes a portion of it, the government takes a portion of it for the booking fee, and over the last 3 years, they made $100 million. All right, so why am I talking about this? I get business owners that come to me all the time. They want to make something massive and grandiose to go start a new business. They want to take something there. All this company did was take something that was simple and easy and took a little bit of a lot. I can tell you, people, is a lot. And $100 million is a lot. So what we want to do is we want to look at our business and see where we can start taking little bits. And the more little bits we can take will eventually lead to a lot if we do it right. So we're going to come back, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other things. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on NowMedia Television. We'll be back right after this.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Hi, I'm Michael Rager, your business guide and coach. Welcome back here to NowMedia Television. We got our guest, and he's here for the first time, and I'm excited about this. This is going to be something we haven't talked about. We got Mr. Rick Perez from 1588 Ventures. He's the CEO and founder of the company. Rick, how you doing today?
Great, Michael. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Man, I'm excited. I want to be in that place you're sitting in right now. I want to see that sunshine coming up, and I know there's fish jumping in the back. That gets me excited.
That's right. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about 1588 and what do you guys do? You guys are doing plastic recycling, but it's a specific type of plastic recycling, right?
Yeah, correct. So 1588 is our family office, but we just did a great transaction. We've been doing this for 30 years. on recycling. We do all types of recycling across 13 different countries. But the main thing is the flexible packaging. So from 6-pack carrier rings to all your flexible bags, all of your cleaner bags, all of that. And so what we're doing is bringing that into here in Houston. We did a mega site, and what we do is convert the plastic into a 75% less carbon footprint plastic that goes right back into the same product. So the beautiful thing is all about circular economy. How do we help companies really increase their score in ESG and lower their carbon footprint? And that's our passion of ours. We've been doing it for 30 years, and we had a great opportunity to partner up with one of the largest company, Waste Management, WM, and it's been a fantastic ride. So continue to do the right thing for the environment. That's what we've been doing.
Well, that's nice. So you've been doing it for 30 years. It must be profitable, right?
Yeah, it has to be green and green. A lot of people think that it has to be subsidized and for it to work. And I always say anything that has to be subsidized is not sustainable. So the big thing about now is if you look at major brands, major companies, they realize the end of life of a product is as important as creating the product. And so we've been working all the way now, as before they launch a product, they will send us what the plastic would look like, what are they trying to achieve, and we tell them they can or can't be recycled, and how can we make it better. And I think, fundamentally, that's going to be the future, is if you're going to produce a product, understand the end of life has to come back to either recycled or reused, and it has to go back into not hurting the environment. That's the priority number one. And I think, the adoption in major corporations have realized consumers will not buy their products if it continues to pollute and it won't do the right thing for the environment. So it's a big movement. I think it's definitely happening, and it's just getting better and better every day.
No, that's interesting. So, we were talking off camera. I'm a big fisherman. I love to go to those places that you're at out there. And plastics, especially single-use plastics, are a big issue right now. So I love that you're going through the innovation stages with companies now. Say, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to bring this out. But the plastics you're getting right now, where are you getting them from? So you're going out and reclaiming them from somewhere, right? Where are you going to grab them from?
Well, you got to look at, so pretty much every grocery store, every furniture company, every manufacturer of food or any manufacturer of any type of product, they generate quite a bit of packaging. So everything that we as consumers love and what makes it really easy, it's all packaged. So one is what we do is behind the stores. If you ever walk in front of any major retailers, you'll see that in the back of the stores. The other one would be your curbside programs. And that's what WM is the largest at, and that's what we generate a lot of that plastic as well. So all of that is getting combined to generate all those large volume to be able to convert that. So it's the hardest thing about is the collection issue, right? Because the plastics itself have a home, the cardboard, metals. We can really recycle pretty much everything. It's just a matter of how do you get it there. And then once you get it is how do you sort it all out? So it's a really capital intensive business, but the good news is it's happening. Very large investments are going into the area. And at the end of the day, it's a profitable venture for everybody.
You mentioned ECG, and I know in some realms those are the three evil letters, but I came from the environmental world, and I can't see how it's a negative if a company goes out and say, look, this is how I'm going to improve my environmental footprint. How do you guys help them do that and help other companies just because of what you're doing and working with you?
Yeah, so it's right. So when back in avant-garde innovative days, what we created is a technology called Sustain. And that really is a technology. What it does is uses artificial intelligence to look inside dumpsters, compactors, and other different methods of collection. And what we're doing is we're really identifying recyclables going into the waste streams. So every time there's a recyclable incident going in, it will notify the store and the location that this is happening. And what that has tended to do is it has increased our recyclables, up to 200, like 100%. And I think our average is like 42% when we install them. And then you also have to realize that means that there's less product going into a landfill. So if we're trying to do waste diversion and not going into a landfill and do capture, then you actually convert that to a product that's going to go right back into another product. And that's really the key that's happening. And that's how you help really companies with their ESG score in a large scale.
Yeah, I think what you said, I think one of the most important things is we're taking something that's already there. It's not going away for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back and repurpose it again to use it again at the same function. If we can keep doing that, that's going to be an easy, that's really going to be helpful. What countries are doing this better than the United States? Because I know there's other countries doing it way better than we are, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, I could say that probably the European countries, they're ahead of the game. And, there's a lot of regulations, which we don't want, right? At the end of the day, we want companies to do the right thing and get involved. Europeans have been in front of this before we have. But believe it or not, we have operations all Latin America, and Latin America is absolutely doing the right thing. So, I think if you really look at this, it's not a very complicated way to do the right thing by the environment. Everybody thinks it's going to cost the company a lot of money, so they're hesitant to do it. But once we have every time we roll out our program, we show them not only we're helping your ESG score, but we're making you money, right? And you're also doing, and also your consumer is realizing that you are doing the right thing. So I think eventually it's not even a choice. Nobody's going to go buy products or things that are contaminating our environment. And there is no need for that. So I think there's a lot of investment coming into the area. You'll be hearing a lot about what they call advanced recycling or chemical recycling, which is the next frontier, which is where you actually take the plastics that are really hard to recycle. They're way too complicated in the way they're structured molecularly, and you can't break that down from a mechanical standpoint. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to break that down to the monomer, and then you rebuild it back up. And it can go right back plastic to plastic.
That's cool.
So the future is really bright in recycling. It's amazing, and we all should be part of that solution.
Yeah, I love it. I got a 12-year-old. He's got a recycling company in our neighborhood. So he recycles all our corrugated cardboard and paper in our neighborhood. So
there you go.
I'll get him there. So Rick, how do companies work with you? And if they want to get a hold of you and talk about this, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, easy. We're 1588ventures.com. And also with Avangard Innovative, which is a Natura, it's actually Natura PCR is the plant in the process. So, but we would love to, work with companies that continue to help them with their ESG and help them realize that, hey, that at the end of the day, it's the right thing, make some money doing it, and make sure that your consumers are happy. And guess what? Even this ocean back here will be really happy. So for us, it's all about how do we get it clean? How do we live in an environment that, global warming doesn't exist? That day would hopefully come. We all know we have to do something right. And so we just think it's a little stepping stone in the right direction. The good news, like I said, is there's a lot of capital going into this business, and companies are aware and consumers are aware. We're having this discussion right now, Michael, right? So it is happening. And the beautiful thing is we all have to contribute. So we can't, as consumers, we also have to remember, like your son is, you have to do the right thing, bring it to the right place so it can get recycled correctly and brought back to another product.
Well, that's awesome, Rick. Thanks a lot, man. I've been glad having you on the show this time for the first time. I'm looking forward to learning more about you and the company and what it does and how you guys are helping make the world a better place. We just need a lot more business owners just like you out there, Rick. Thanks a lot for being on today.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right. Well, this is Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on the NowMedia Television networks. We'll be right back right after this.
According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds. Homes and businesses without a reliable security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Alert 360 provides custom-tailored rock-solid security solutions to residential and commercial customers. Whether it's home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood protection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, 24/7 alarm monitoring, and life safety, Alert 360 is your ideal solution. In addition, Alert 360 has a smart home and business integrations like access control and video shield for a complete peace of mind, protecting what matters the most and reducing energy costs with our top-of-the-line automatic scheduling functions. Alert 360 offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Don't be a victim. Take a strong step today. Call Rosana Torres at 832-863-8574 for your free consultation.
Hi, Michael Rager, your business guide. We're back with my good friend Matthew Paul. Matthew, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am well. Thank you for having me back in the show, Michael.
All right, so we're going to talk about, right up there with accounting, the next most fun thing that business owners want to deal with. We're going to talk about insurance.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very critical piece of any financial plan, right?
It is. Insurance is that thing nobody wants to really worry about until they actually need it, right?
Absolutely.
So,
now, Michael, I always, you and I, both of us are football fans. I mean, you route for Michigan, I route for Alabama, and both are good schools. And I always tell people that, a football game is won not by offense alone, it is won by defense and offense. And insurance is your defense of business.
Yeah, it is for sure, for sure. Well, let's talk about it. Let's start in, as I'm a business owner. When I start looking at an insurance plan and strategy, where do I need to start? How do I start putting that together?
Yeah, so you need to have personal insurance and business insurance. The business insurance is like the business that you are in. You need to make sure that you have a liability insurance, because suing is a sport in this country right now, and so make sure that you don't never get sued. So you need to have business insurance. You need to have E&O, errand omissions. You need to make sure that if somebody comes to your office that they are not falling down and suing you. So you need to have all sort of business insurance, and there are so many business brokers. Go to any one of them and they can help you get a business insurance. And on the same time, you need to have personal insurance like umbrella. What umbrella insurance does is that they will put an umbrella around your assets so that if unfortunately somebody sues you, you can protect that with the insurance that you have.
So when do being on where I'm at, I've had a lot of, with my clients, I've had them go review their insurance, because a lot of insurance, it isn't what it seems, right? It seems cheap and it seems like it's going to be a good thing, but when we get a real pro that goes in and looks at it, we're going to see is we're really not getting what we expected. How does somebody like you go through a policy and figure out, are we really getting what we're supposed to be getting? Yeah,
so we actually don't go through line by line on a policy, because I'm not an insurance agent. But what I do is I sit with clients and make sure that I educate them, and then I connect with people who I trust, and then you can go them and shop around with them and go through and get an insurance quote. So I personally don't do it, but I always emphasize and teach them the importance of having that and make sure that they have covered in one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't do it either, because it's really boring to read and I want to get around. But I make sure that my clients know the person that they need to get to talk to about that. So, that's important.
That's important. And then one thing that we never talk about, especially in a partnership, is what happens if one partner dies, or if what happens if one partner decides to leave. And there is a whole cash flow problem at that point. So one of the insurance that you definitely need to have, even if you're a business owner, is if it's a life insurance. Now, talk to your insurance agent. I mean, if you want us to take a look at it, we are more than happy to take a look at it. But you have to make sure that your businesses are paying for the key man's insurance, and that if something happens to the partnership, that the money is recouped so that there is no negative cash flow.
Well, we kind of just changed gears there. So we started talking about we got to protect our business and what we do, the errors and omissions. That makes sure that if we say something, do something wrong, they're going to come back. They're not going to get us. The key man is, all right, I'm in business. I've got a partner. I've got me. I've got a family. If I die, there's going to be there's going to be money that's going to help my company do what?
Keep moving forward, right? So if something happens to your partner, I mean, let's say that you are a partnership, and then two people have started working, and if the partner unfortunately passed away, you are going to have a rupture in your business, unless that partner is useless or not doing anything for you. But mostly that's not the case. So what happens is that the partner will bring some revenue into the business, and that revenue stream is stopped. You need to have time to go and figure out what is the next step, and you need to have a cash flow coming in. So if you have a key man's insurance for that particular person that the business pays, the insurance will pay X amount of money to the family and to the business, and make sure that you can run the business without any interruptions.
Well, yeah, it goes back to what we've been talking with our lawyers. David Murphy in the last couple of weeks. Business divorces and all these things. If there's a death, an unexpected death, you got to make sure that, number one, are you expecting to go into business with your business partner's wife?
Right.
The key man will allow you to potentially have the money to go out and do a search, an executive search, to go find a CEO or a replacement or something like that. That's really going to help you as the business owner continue to make the business move forward, and still let your family, have the legacy it's supposed to get from the business, right?
Right. I mean, that's one thing. And then, life insurance, these days can work in many ways.
Yeah.
There are people who have an IUL, they borrow against it, they go investments with it. So the insurance is not what it used to be in the past. In the past, it was like that couple of products and say, hey, you do this and then you will get it. But these days, if you sit with a very good insurance agent, he or she can run through various options and make sure that you're protected throughout in the business and in your family.
Well, I know when you and I first kind of, I was in the business for a while back, the 80s and 90s. It was just an asset. Insurance was to protect your earning ability.
Yep.
Now it's getting to the point, there's different products that can help you, avoid taxes, that can avoid this and this and this and that because of tax codes and stuff like this. With your company, how do you help a client, look at that? Because now all of a sudden we've got somebody that passes away. All right, we got the key man. We're going to take care of that position within the company. How are we going to make sure that the family's okay and avoid major tax implications and all this fun stuff?
Yeah, so we do a financial plan. So the very first time a person comes to our office, what we do is we take a balance sheet of their life. What are the assets? What are the liabilities? What are the risk factors? And if we figure out that they do not have an insurance, a life insurance in one way or the other, we make sure that either we provide one or we partner with people whom we completely trust, and then they can provide one. So that's the way we always operate, and we make sure that they are protected in case there is a risk factor that comes with it.
Yeah, so the role of insurance has really changed, I think, a lot in the last 5 years than what it was 10 to 15 years ago. And that's why it's important to have an expert, on your team that's looking at the financial side. So we're looking at, Matthew, you're looking at what? You're looking at mutual funds and stocks and bonds and all that stuff, and the insurance side, right?
Right. We even talk about the nursing home needs, right? We are having more broken families these days, and if the kids are not taking care of the parents, guess where they are going? They are going to go to a nursing home, and the nursing home prices are skyrocketing these days. So what is the plan? And if you have a long-term care insurance, maybe that will help you offset some of the expenses that you can get during those days. Now, the long-term care insurance is very expensive, so there are a lot of people who buy a IUL and put a long-term care rider against it. The options are infinite if you know what you need and if you are educated about it. So the first thing we do is to create a financial plan, and then insurance plays a very critical role in analyzing what they need and what they don't need.
Yeah, it is. It's just like you said, it's the defense. We got to get in, offense and defense both win you championships, and that's where we need to go.
Absolutely. If you don't, just look at the car insurance. All of us have car insurance, but the very moment we get a car insurance, we are not thinking that, oh my God, I just want to get into an accident so I can get the insurance back. We don't think like that. We always say that, hey, we pray that we never have an accident, but in case it happens, there is an auto insurance to provide us.
And it's still a pain in the butt, Matthew. I went through it last year. I got hit. It was a pain in the butt.
That is a different story altogether. But when you buy a house, you get a home insurance. You are not thinking that the next day it's gonna collapse. But in case if you need, all the insurances are like that. You go into a business, we go with the right intention. If you have a business insurance, it protects if something bad happens. If you go into your life insurance, if something bad happens, it protects. So it acts as a defense in your life.
It is. So, okay, we got people out there watching us. They're saying, oh my God, I got to talk to this Matthew guy. I need to sit down with them. I got to figure out, do I have the right insurance? How do they get a hold of you?
Oh, they can call our office at 281-435-1888 or email us, and then the website is right there on the screen. So the first meeting that we have with you, it's completely complimentary. There's no cost. What we are trying to do is to see whether we can even help you. If we cannot help you, then we will say goodbye. But if we can help you, then we will sit with you and guide you in the right way.
Well, that's awesome, Matthew. Hey, you got to not just say goodbye. You just got to send them on to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, again, we cannot do everything for everybody, but you know what? We are here to partner with you and make sure that the right people get helped.
Hey, I've having enough of those discussions with people this week, is they want to help everybody, and as a business coach, we're telling you, you can't.
No,
and
you
quit
cannot.
trying to do it.
Yep.
You can't. Help the right people that you can help, and go help them better than anybody else in the world. And if you need some help with your debt, your insurance, your investments, go talk to Matthew. I guarantee he's going to help you.
All right, nice talking to you, Michael.
All right, Matthew, nice talking to you. We'll see you in Michigan. The poll's coming out. We're ranked number 2.
Alabama still rules the football world, man.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a great one. I'm Michael Rage, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on the NowMedia Television networks. We'll be back right after this.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper, but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner, offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success. There we go. We got our new guy back there on the production side, and he's not giving us the cues to get back in. So we told him we were going to mess with him going live on camera. So, Eric, that's exactly what we're going to do, aren't we?
Hey, man, I love it. Let's do it.
All right. So we got Eric Harrison live in studio. Okay, this is it, man. We're going to talk about the discipline to be or not to be. Because it's
that is the question.
It is. I think Shakespeare brought that to us a long time ago.
Most definitely.
So let's talk about this and how you get into it. This is all about your image, right?
Yes.
That's what this is all about. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I talk about this a lot. Ever since I've been with you, I've talked about things like vitals, our values, interests, temperament, activity timing, our life's goals, and our strengths. We talk about all those things so that we can know who we really are. But most times we get so caught up with the things that we're inundated with day in and day out, whether it's social media, right? The news, people we talk to, that we tend to lose who we really are, our identity. And that tends to bleed over into our business. And if we don't infuse our identity into our business, then we can't really give the services that those people really need because they're not genuine, they're not real. And you know about that.
Yeah, I know. It's one of my mentors, he used to say, he had this equation, B times do equals half.
Most definitely.
And he says 99 times out of 100, we know what we want to have.
Yes.
We pretty much know what we've got to do.
Yes.
But the problem is, to do what you got to do correctly, you got to become something.
Exactly. Most definitely. And listen, when I coach business owners, entrepreneurs, and just even high-level CEOs and people who have built like very strong careers, over time they've lost track of who they really are because they've done things like code switch or become something that's totally not them. And then they come to me and they're like, I don't understand why I feel so miserable. I don't understand what's going on. And it's because you are a shell of your old self. That person that you were when you were that kid dreaming of being this guy that you've become, you've lost that kid. You've lost the fun. You've lost all the things that really make things be worth what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, when I started Teach Your Business to Fish, that was it about. Let's go do what I love to do and why I want to do it. And people look at me and they go, like, Rager, how in the heck did you do this? You're making money going fishing, smoking cigars, and drinking whiskey. And I said, like, what dude wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly. And listen, man, that's you went into one of my favorite lines, which is helping people to do what they love to do for the people they love so they can build rich and long-lasting legacies. You know what? Sometimes we look at legacy and we look at, our family and our grandkids and the lineage of my grandfather. But sometimes your legacy is just who you are. And then you need to pass that down, not only into your family, but your business as well. But so many people lose that because they do anything to get the business, to get the client. Stop doing that. Just be yourself. And the right people will be drawn to you.
Well, it's funny is when you go in my family and you go see who the fishermen are, and I'm going to tell you, it's zero. There's nobody in their family that fishes but me. I started, but the cigar smoker, it came from both my grandparents. Both my grandparents smoked cigars. And, it was just one of the things that I liked. It was fun hanging around with the grandparents. So, when we build our business culture, right, I think that's important. Culture is one of the most important things. How do we build a culture around us and then attract people like us into it? Because that's what it's all about, is attracting people like you.
Right. That's an amazing question. I think first and foremost, you need to really first understand who you are. There's people are like, what do you mean by that? Understand who I am? Again, like I said, you have so many things that will distract you and keep you away from your foundation, your base, your core beliefs, the things that you really stand on. Again, your values. And you get so caught up in whatever else is going on, you get away from that. So first you need to know that. Secondly, infuse that into every area of your business. Even in your interviews, when you talk to people, ask them questions based on what you really believe. It's okay if they don't believe it. It's okay if they're not a good fit. They can go somewhere else and help someone else and add value. But make sure you have people who are aligned with your vision, aligned with who you are, and man, you'll have tremendous success.
Yeah, it was funny is when I started Teach Your Business to Fish, I had I don't want to say she was a branding coach, but she's like, hey, Mike, we want to get you into this. And I used to do a show here, and it was called Teach Your Business to Fish, and it was a radio type podcast, a little bit more. But I got fishing shirts, I've got everything. I went to an M&A forum meeting, dude, in fishing shirt, shorts, and flip flops.
I love it.
And I'm telling you, here's my favorite part about it is I'm growing a business, I own a business, I do what I want. The bankers who work for other people were looking down at me and talking down at me. And I laughed I can't say what I laughed off because we're on TV right now. But it's like, guys, you work for someone else. Somebody else is telling you to put on your suit. Somebody else is telling you to do this.
Definitely. There you go, Michael. And look, let me tell you something. And I'm speaking to, like, I know this is a show for entrepreneurs and business owners, but I got a feeling that a few people who work for people are actually watching this now. Michael's exactly right. When you hit a certain point in your career, you've got to be yourself. You can't keep being someone else. You've got to stop that, because if you keep trying to fit in to someone else's template, someone else's shape, someone else's box, you'll be the most miserable person there is. And that's where health problems come in. That's where problems with relationships come in. And hey, you will not be a happy camper, and your clients won't be either.
Yeah, it is. It's not about not growing.
Yeah.
Because one of the hardest things I see is I coach a lot of younger business owners. I'm going to put the younger business owners as late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
And they may have been employed. They've done stuff. They learned bad habits, especially when it comes to leadership. And I got a couple of them, and I got to nudge them all the time going, you need to become a better leader.
Yeah.
You need to become a better leader.
Most definitely.
And it's most of the time I see it, and let me know what you see, Eric, is when we're talking about becoming better leaders, leaders aren't about going, do this, do this, do this.
Right.
Leaderships are coming back to follow me because I'm going somewhere really, really cool.
Exactly.
And I want you to come along with me.
Exactly. You know, and again, and I keep bringing it all the way back to this, but how in the world can you lead if you don't have a template? How in the world can you lead if you don't have a foundation? Something you truly believe in, so that then I can communicate that to the people that I'm leading. There are so many people that, listen, I understand books are great. They're great. But you know what? You only read a book to enhance who you really are. I can't coach you if you won't take the time to strip off all the BS and really get to who you are. Now, once you do that, then you can communicate who you are to the people that you lead. And then once you do that, you build that camaraderie. You build that flow, so that then you can have a business that can reach people. And it's not built on a house of cards, but it's built on a solid foundation that delivers amazing service.
Yeah, like one of the tools I got, you know, is for people to say, hey, Mike, I really can't afford a lot of money to work with you. It's just kind of a easy, you know, under $1,000 buy-in. It's a 90-minute exercise where we figure out, one, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? But the other thing is we've got to go ahead and understand where really are we now.
Exactly.
Because if we don't know where we are now, we don't know how to get there.
Exactly.
And those two things, those are the two most important part of the equations, right, Eric?
Yes. And oftentimes when we look at images, right, and so many people tell us to do this, envision where you're going to be in the next year. Envision where you're going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years. But while you're doing that, you've got to see where you are now. That big old sign that's in the mall, when you got to go and you want to go buy a pair of gym shoes and you want to know where a Foot Locker is. First, you've got to go look at that map and say, you are here now. Then you know how to get to Foot Locker and get those shoes. If you never know where you are now, then you can't get to where you want to be in the future. It would never work. Never.
Yeah, one of the guys that I listen to a lot is Jim Rohn.
Yes,
and Jim Rohn has a thing coming into the 21st century. And he's really against these affirmations that say, I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to have a six-pack. He said, you know, you got to be honest with yourself, because your subconscious, if I go look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm going to be this fit stud, it ain't going to happen. My subconscious is going to go, no, fatty. We saw you eat jelly beans this weekend with your kid on Easter Sunday. So, you know, you've got to be really honest with yourself, because you can try to trick your subconscious, but your subconscious knows the truth.
Right. Well, you know what? Our subconscious is like a rubber band, Michael. So we can stretch it, we can manipulate it, right? But you know what rubber bands always do? They always snap back to their original form.
Or they're going to break.
Exactly. Or they'll break. One of the two. So if you are not building things on who you really are first. Now, I'm not saying you can't be that person with the six-pack. I'm not saying that you can't do those things. But first and foremost, you got to really be honest about where you are. Like if you're 310 pounds and 5'10", you got a lot of work to do. You got some stuff you got to get done. But you got to embrace who you are right now, so that you make those changes and get better.
Well, thank you, dude. I'm 5'10". I'm not quite 300. All right, will you be nicer to me? I did see a number on the scale this week that I never saw before, and it did not make me very happy. All right, Eric. So you and I are going to be hanging around a little bit. We're going to this thing called Cigars and Old Fashions tomorrow, so we're going to be there. If you want to go that, you want to go there.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're probably going to go on this big tuna fishing trip, and you know, cool people talking to cool people, but. People want to sit down and talk to you, Eric. How do they get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is to go to my website, www.expressyourperspective.com. That name says it all. You need to be able to express your perspective, not their perspective, of others, but you really need to understand who you are, what you're all about, strip away all the stuff that's been poured into you by all these other things, and then once you do that, man, the world is yours.
Well, I'm telling you, man, I'm looking forward to all the fun we're going to have the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. I know every time we come in here, we have a good time. You know,
for sure, man.
You know, your handsomeness just makes me look better when you're there on the screen.
Well,
right
thank you.
Me,
I
you know?
appreciate that.
You make me look younger because all my gray's not there, man. You know? All right, buddy. I know. It's there. I saw Eric. I saw a video of me that was put out like 6 years ago, and I had no grays, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just didn't know what was going on there. But man, I'm so much looking forward to the things we got coming up in the future, and you got to be here when this man's on. He's there because I tell you, I get your what is it? My 7. Tell me about it, because I saw your 7 things that you wanted to accomplish this week. I saw that.
Yeah. So thank you for throwing me that lob. So My 7 is a free Facebook group that I have for people that want to be introduced to my coaching practice. And what it is just very simple: 7 things in 7 days, right? And it's a free Facebook group. So many people get into it. They put those 7 things out there, and then midweek we do a midweek check-in, say, hey, this is where I'm at. And then the people in the group actually chime in to what everybody else is saying their 7 goals is, and they actually help each other. So it's a group where people really want to see people improve and grow, and it's also providing accountability. So
there you go, man. I just got, the older you get, the higher the lobs I got to give you, man. Amen. So it's so much
I got to
fun.
do some squats now.
All right, if you're not there, go meet and hang out with Eric Harrison. Come out and hang with us both. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV. We'll be back right after this.
Working, especially if you don't have the right attorney at your side. Hi, my name is Sonia Aston, and I'm an attorney with over 30 years of experience. I've helped small and medium-sized businesses and business owners to make sure that their legal rights and interests are protected. As general counsel for you and your organization, I can draft and review solid contracts, minimize the risk of litigation, review and prepare comprehensive business succession plans, or help you navigate your company with the local, state, and federal government. Take a decisive step today. I'm here to make sure your legal rights are protected and you have a peace of mind that you deserve.
Hey, welcome back. I'm your business guide and host, Michael Rager, here on Biz Talk TV on the NowMedia Television networks. All right, man, so it's that time. It's got Leo Simpson. Leo, I'm going to change up the title of your topic, and I'm going to call it The Path to Being Predictably Powerful. How do we become predictably powerful, Leo?
Man, it's okay to change the topic. It sounds better. Man, let's start with, what is it that is power, right? And I think there's 3 definitions that would be helpful from an intrinsic level, or more so personal level. The thought process about power is I can, right? From an extrinsic level, it's possible, right? But then it gets into this depth of the fact that at a simple level, but yet a very impactful level, power is influence. And you and I, we are John Maxwell folks, and John Maxwell says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So when it comes to power is the true essence of leadership. And then in the context of the true essence of leadership, it says I can, and it's possible.
So why do, as human beings, why do we desire to be powerful?
Well, we desire to be powerful because, one, we were made to be influential, right? We were made to do stuff, to make stuff, to create stuff, to make an impact, to release our energy. But when you think about it, there's a difference in power and powerful, right? Powerful is really 2 words. It's power and full, right? So really, you want to be full of power. Because when you're full of power, it means that there is the capacity to do, there's the capacity to achieve, there's the capacity to lead, to influence. And having that capacity, naturally, you want to release it. So when it comes down to the desire, it's like we desire to be powerful because it's a reality that we really can't control. And so we want to be able to have a way to release that power. So when we think about being powerful, we think about it from the standpoint of We're powerful, so that means we need to do something with it. And so we desire to do something with it, and we can't help ourselves.
But how do we go from desire to reality? So how do we take it? We've got that desire as human beings to be powerful. How do we really become powerful in our lives? And I know one of the places that you really focus on is not just at business, but at home.
Absolutely. And so before we even get into, I think, where we're going to go after this, I think it's important that we start with how we think about it, right? We need to know what, first and foremost, power is, and also the opposite of power. It's so important to create those delineations. And when you operate from a standpoint of the lack of power, which means you don't believe you can, you don't believe it's possible, you don't see the possibility of influence, then literally in a position to where you're not able to achieve. And like you said, with regard to family life and business life, when you don't really know that, one, they're designed to be teammates and not opponents, and you're not sure how to navigate between the two of them, you're going to feel powerless. You're going to feel like there's not power for you to do what you need to do. You're not going to feel like you can actually win in family and business. You're not going to feel like there's a possibility for your family to actually fuel your business and vice versa. You're going to be confused and frustrated. And when it comes down to it, if you don't have the absolute commitment and consistency of thought related to what power is, and that it is absolute regardless of where you are, then you're going to be in a situation to where it's just confusing, chaos, it's all sorts of things. So it starts with, you got to actually decide, make a decision that power is what it is, and power can be what it ought to be, and that you're going to pursue it. But the question is, how are we going to pursue it predictably?
All right, so we've made that decision. How do we make it predictable? I mean, that's the most important thing, and that's what our talk's about today. How do we make this being powerful predictable?
It's about the path you choose. And let me talk about path. See, power is something you get to, or powerlessness is something you get to based on the path that you choose. And that path starts with the facts of life, the situations of life, the circumstances of life, the realities of life. Now, power says, again, I can. Power says it's possible. Power is the essence of leadership, which is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So knowing that we're going to do things in life, we seek to achieve things, we set goals, we pursue opportunities, and we take advantage of things, we've got to position ourselves in a way that we're going to be able to leverage that power. So in order to get our hands around that power, to get ourselves in the environment of that power, we got to take the right path. And it starts with the facts. Based on the facts, what happens is we're going to put a frame around those facts. And when we put a frame around those facts, we're going to take a focus. And that focus is going to move us to whether we have a faithful belief or a doubtful belief. If we have a faithful belief, then that faithful belief is going to produce a feeling in us called anticipation. When we have anticipation, we have this energy ramp up, which is called emotion. And when we get the emotion within the context of that anticipation, which is the energy I get when the future outcome that I desire is desirable to me, and it is something that I expect with great commitment, focus, and belief that it is absolute, then what happens is once that anticipation gets moving, I feel like in my hand, I have this sense of I can. I have this sense of it's possible. I have this sense of leadership. I have this sense of, hey, influence, nothing more, nothing less. However, if I don't take that path and around those facts, I frame a negative thought process, a negative viewpoint, what's going to happen is it's going to lead me to focus on a doubtful belief. And when it leads me to focus on a doubtful belief, what happens is the byproduct of that is energy, but it's energy that's being wasted within the context of anxiety. And when you're anxious, when you're in a position to where you don't desire the outcome that is likely, then everything you do becomes like a self-sabotage where you feel powerless. You feel like you can't put your hand around anything. Feels like you can't, get your footing anywhere. It feels like you're not on a a sound foundation, feel like you're just on sinking sand and all those different things. Why? You took the wrong path. And see, what we got to understand is the first power that exists is in our power to decide on which path we take to achieve the things we desire to achieve. You hear me now?
Well, that kind of goes back to what our last guest, Eric, was saying.
Absolutely.
It's all about being true to ourselves. In order for us to be powerful, we can't try to be something somebody else is telling us to be. We've got to be who we need to be. That will put us in our power, right?
Yeah, and so I love how you put that. See, power, again, is I can. It's possible. It's leadership, right? But think about it. If you're going to be powerful, you've got to take the path to get there, and you've got to know you got the power. And that power starts with I have the power to decide. I have the power to choose the view that I take. So I decide on this path based on my choice of this frame that I place around the facts of life. Hey, let me just give it to you this way. My wife asked me this question probably a few days ago. She said, okay, so, we're talking about this idea of the frame you put around things. She was like, okay, so what if somebody, deals with a, sexual abuse or sexual assault or something like that? What frame can they put around that's positive? I say, well, that's easy. Now, I don't want you to think that I just been thinking about this forever, but it's just the way my brain works. I said to her, listen, you've got to understand that as a person who experienced something of that negative proportion, as deep as it is, they still have the ability to see a beauty in it. First and foremost, because every adversity, like Napoleon Hill said, brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. So you get to decide to say, hey, this hurt, but there's some help within it. And so that person can say, I don't really like the fact that this happened to me. It really destroyed me. It frustrated me. It really, caused me to feel like I'm just worthless. However, maybe, just maybe, if I look at it right, not only can I see some opportunities, but maybe I can help somebody else. And just doing that positions that person to see the power that exists, which is, I can. It's possible. Influence.
Yeah. I love it because that's what it's about. We start looking at something so negative, such as that you brought up, that a lot of times the person that's going through that, it ends up defining them. And instead of them just taking and say, wait, stop, I'm going to take, as you're saying here, I'm going to take a powerful stance and say, that's not going to define me. I'm going to use that situation, no matter how good or bad it was, and I'm going to use it to help somebody else. And if I can go take something out of that and help somebody else, now you control it and you've got the power. That situation before you it's powerless now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing about that is when you understand that I have control, and if I take the right viewpoint, the control that I have will become like this covering and protection for me. Man, you really can't lose. That's why within the context of the successes I've had in business, I've seen how valuable it is to help people understand the power that they really have in their family life and see how it can become a fueling agent to their business life. It's like, I want you to understand you're powerful in this area. Don't think you're powerless anymore.
Well, I know we've got a good friend, Rhea Story. She's probably gone through some of the worst stuff ever that a woman could go through, but she is one of the most powerful leaders I've ever met. Yeah. And she's taken a crappy situation and she figured out how she's going to go help influence other people and become a leader of not just women, but a leader of men, a leader of companies, just a leader. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
She decided to leverage her power and take the path to that predictable power.
And you hear a story and it's hurtful and it makes you cry. And as a person, nobody should ever have to go through that ever. But here it is. We're turning into power and getting out into yourself. So I want you to just kind of sum this up. In me being predictably powerful, both at home and business, how does that really affect my life as a whole? And that's what we've been talking about for the last several weeks, making my life whole. How does this predictable powerfulness really going to affect everything and make it better?
Man, when you're predictably powerful, your productivity is like that of a magician or a wizard, to where it seems like everything you touch, it just turns to gold, right? So that means that no problem is greater than your power, and no possibility is greater than your power. Like, your vision is such that it's like laser vision between anything that is problematic. Matter of fact, in my problem solving and decision making class that I teach at Lone Star College, Montgomery, I told him, I said, listen, you got to understand every problem brings its solution with it. But also, you have the power to decide on whether you see the problem as a means of opposition or a means of opportunity. And that's the power of being able to have that predictable powerfulness and taking the right path to actually get there.
Well, I think it was one of the most powerful things I've heard you say is every problem brings a solution with it. You just got to be able to see it. So, Leo, how do people get a hold of you, and how do people sit down with you?
Absolutely. Team3l.com, and it will show you how to do that. We have some great content there. We got some things coming up in the near future. Some things we thought we were going to do that we might not do. Not sure, but hey, that's a part of it. You got to be able to take that path to predictability in your powerfulness and be able to take with it what it tells you is actually on the other side for you. So we got some opportunities, like I said, coming up, but certainly you can get into some of the content we already have there. Many instances, we got over 20 hours direct access, and then there's some other accesses that you can get to. We're looking forward to it.
Well, awesome, Leo, man. I love it when you're here every time we come up with something new about becoming a powerful both business owner, father, parent, everything, husband we need to be. So thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you every time you're here.
You're very welcome.
All right, I'm Michael Rage, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV. We're going to be back right after this. Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
Oye, Lily dice que AT&T le da a todos las mejores ofertas.
Minus the air quotes.
Las mejores ofertas.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Te lo dije, aquí las mejores ofertas son para todos con una variedad de planes.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
En AT&T les damos a todos nuestras mejores ofertas en cada smartphone.
Hey, thanks a lot for joining us today. I'm Michael Rage, your business guide here on Now Television Network. I'm telling you, what an interesting show we had today. You know, we started talking about recyclability, and we started talking about insurance. Then we started talking about you, the business owner, and who do you got to become? Who do you got to be become that powerful person? And that's what it's all about. Everything we talked about today was about being powerful. I love the way that Leo wrapped it up today, because we started a little bit, talking with Matthew on insurance. The insurance side we're talking about, that's being powerful. That's taking care of your business and defending it so nobody can get in and attack your moat. We started talking about Rick about recycling, and this is taking care of the whole earth. Everything there is to take care of everything. Being who you got to be and being truthful to yourself is what we took here from my good friend Rick. Eric. I call him Rick. Eric. Oh my gosh. He's going to hit me tomorrow. I'm going to owe him for that for sure. I get Cleese laughing at me on the other side of the door. But this is what it's all about. So if you're not out there having fun and being who you got to be, that's what it's about. That's why we start businesses, to do what we want to do. I talked about it a few times. I started 2 companies. Teach Your Business to Fish. I did that because it's fun. I wanted to make business fun. And I wanted to have something that my son can enjoy. And then we have Whiteboards and Whiskey. Whiteboards and Whiskey is all about learning in a fun, exciting experience. Remember, go out there and start a business and be the type of business owners you need to be. That's what it's all about. The more truthful you are to yourself. I see that there it is, White Boys of Whiskey. The more truthful you are to yourself, the better business owner you're going to become. So come on out and join us. One of the new things that we're offering is we're going to offer you this path. You've got to understand where I am now, where I want to go. If you don't put those two things together, you're never going to get anywhere. Eric and I talked about it a little bit today. Come out and join us. See us here. We're the first Wednesday of the month.